Shuten Order is a visual novel released by Spike Chunsoft. It is made by Kodaka, the same guy who made Danganronpa. Honestly, I didn't see many advertisements for this game other than a Nintendo Direct, but I was interested because it was made by Kodaka. The initial release came with many language issues, as far as I could tell, so I decided to wait for a while for these issues to be fixed before I played it. The game features a unique atmosphere with its designs and OST, and the game is entirely voice acted, except for item descriptions and optional dialogue. Some of my issues with the game are that its 3D models are ugly as fuck and feel unneeded. There is the illusion of choice, in which the player has the option to choose between a couple dialogue choices, and in the end it doesn't matter which choice the player takes. Also, the game features a lot of invincible level animation. What I mean by that is that it will feature a PNG and just have it shrink in size or move along to convey movement. Now this isn't that bad, but it does get pretty noticeable, especially since these animations are repeated a lot. Also, some of the dialogue feels repetitive, and at times it feels like it just keeps going on and on. The game excels with its usage of side characters in each route, and the character interactions that come with them. The game features Rei, your average Kodaka protagonist, in the sense that they are an amnesiac, and also just your normal guy, or girl in this case. She finds herself revived by angels in the Shuten Order, a religious anti-god society. It turns out that before she died, she was the founder of the country. After death, God has given her a chance to save humanity and herself, through a trial in which she has to find her murderer and get them to confess to killing her. Upon success, God will revive her, and this will result in humanity being saved. So who exactly is her murderer? Her murderer is most likely one of her 5 ministers. The Minister of Security, Manji Fushicho, who's a Yankee. The Minister of Justice, Kishiru Inugami, who's basically Herlock Sholmes. The Minister of Health, Yugen Ushitora, who seems like a performative male. The Minister of Science, Teko Ion, who is a genius Shoda. And the Minister of Education, Honoka Kokushikan, who is just a weird girl. Depending on which minister is chosen, a different route will play out. In it, Rei uses the power of God, which generally allows Rei to do some bullshit, which allows her to progress in her stories. Each route has its own gimmick, and essentially a nod to a visual novel subgenre. For example, the Minister of Security's route is a top-down mobile game from the 2010s, which isn't really much like a visual novel. The Minister of Health route is essentially Zero Escape. The Ministry of Science is a choose-your-own-adventure, and it is kind of like a Goosebumps story. The Ministry of Education is a dating sim, and the Ministry of Justice is a Danganronpa Ace Attorney mashup. Overall, the routes vary in quality, with the Ministry of Security being the worst one, and the Ministry of Science being my favorite. Like I said, I highly recommend the game, although I might suggest waiting for a sale. I think there are better visual novels out right now, such as Paranormal Sight, which I would recommend over this one. But if you're really craving that Danganronpa experience, go for it. Now onto some of the spoilers. So, for the Ministry of Security, this was easily the worst route for me. The chase segments weren't even fun, and it's overall quite simple. The twists are easily predictable. There aren't really that many mechanics. You just lift and push a barrel once in a while, get a key card, but there's really not much to it. The Ministry of Health was more favorable. It's an escape room type game, like Zero Escape or I, the Somnium Files. It starts off really easy, but the puzzles get more complex, and it's pretty fun. The side characters excel in this route, and are all very interesting. The power of God in this route is kind of stupid. It's not really useful as it just adds a twitch overlay to the puzzle solving. I think it's supposed to give hints, but I didn't really pay enough attention to use it. I think that's my only complaint with this route. It's just that it's a bit boring. I really like the death games, and the twists and turns, character interactions, everything was lovely. The Ministry of Science route is easily the best route. The power of God lets you explore so much more, since it shows each character's perspective, but it doesn't really make much sense from Rei's POV, but I appreciate the power. Either way, the story is extremely well written here, and the character dynamics are great. I guess compared to other routes, there are less characters, and some quality of life features would be helpful, especially when you have to go through each dialogue multiple times just to choose different results. That was a bit annoying. Either way, it's easily the most fleshed out route and kept me on my seat the whole time. As for the Ministry of Education, this was a dating sim game. It was an alright route. Parts of the mystery were pretty obvious right from the get-go, and it kind of made me frustrated with Rei, since I would notice something, but Rei wouldn't notice something for basically the entire route. I wish there was also more gameplay to this dating sim. Like, the entire gameplay loop was selecting something, either it being the person or a location, which would trigger a new cutscene. But there was no real sense of failure. If you chose the wrong option, it was a game over and you just redo it. And the option to win was always the same. There wasn't really much substance to it. Also, in this route, the illusion choice was prominent. You would choose something, but in the end, it wouldn't really matter. For the Ministry of Justice route, this was the Danganronpa Ace Attorney route. It was very nice to play through. It felt like a love letter to the genre. While some of the mysteries were a bit obvious, they were written well. I also loved seeing the characters interact, especially Inugami and Rei. I do want to say, the ending did feel a bit random. For the true end, it surprised me how long this was. I think my biggest annoyance with this route was the decision not to have manual saves. You had autosaves, but it forced you to replay the entire thing just to get the second ending. And I do want to say, endings are not made equal. The human ending never really fit right with me. Like, I don't see a reason for her to do it. Why would she support humanity over the androids? The other ending just fits so much better. It's not like she abandoned humanity entirely in her ending, but at the very least she didn't abandon her friends and everything she kind of stood for. In fact, I don't understand why she would like humanity. She just got tortured by her angels, who have been using her this entire time and making her suffer through life and death over and over again. I do like all the twists and how the ending route wraps everything up, but I do wish they developed or added on to some of the elements that they used. For example, the 1980s-esque visual novel graphics, I wish they actually forced you to do something there, rather than it just auto-typing some letters. I thought that was so cool, but I wish they did more with it. Also, I wish they incorporated more elements from the other routes. It kind of just feels like they used stuff from the Ministry of Science and the Ministry of Justice route, but they could have used something from the Ministry of Security and maybe the Ministry of Health. Overall, my playthrough of Shuten Order has been a great experience, and I highly recommend this game. I do want to say, I feel like other visual novels are better, but this is sitting somewhere above Raincode for me. Maybe somewhere near the 100 line, I'm not really sure. Anyways, thanks for watching this video. I Twitch stream once in a while, where I play through visual novels primarily, and I plan on playing through Genosha soon. Thank you. Have a good one.